If you're interested in making your own clothes, this is the video to like get you started. Oh, look what I made. Ooh. Actually, don't look at the back, I didn't tie it up properly, I couldn't do it myself. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Do you like my hair? I really love this hairstyle. I've never done it before. If you haven't been around here a while, you wouldn't know that I make my own clothes. Not all of them, but like to supplement my clothing obsession without affecting the environment quite so much, I try to make clothes. Emphasis on try. And I also work in a haberdashery fabric shop, which helps a lot. It teaches me a lot, and obviously then I surround myself with people that know what they're talking about. This top I made myself. I wanted to try and put together a video explaining how you can start to make your own clothes, because it's very daunting. I can see that, and it was for me as well. It still kind of is. To start with, you have to kind of pick the route you want to go down. So the three that I kind of do the most are sewing, crochet and upcycling. I'm going to explain specifically how you can kind of get started with each. So the first one, the obvious one that everyone thinks of when they want to start making clothes, is sewing. Sewing is vast, like there is so much to it. You can make everything basically. It's a bit of an investment financially, because for most projects you're going to need a sewing machine of some sort. It's not necessary, but it definitely helps. Essentials that you'll need to start sewing things: sewing machine, not necessarily, but like it will help you do a lot more things. Scissors, good thread, hand sewing needles, so just like an assorted pack of different sizes, and pins. So easy starter projects that I would recommend for sewing, like a skirt or wide leg trousers, basic top of some sort. Look for simple projects to start with, get yourself sorted, figure out how to do them, then you can slowly advance, you know. Once you've done one project, you know how to do all that stuff for the next one, and it kind of all just builds together until eventually you can do more complicated things. Your fabric is really important to think about, because some fabrics are way more difficult to sew with others. The easiest is quilting weight cotton fabric, which is what this is made of. It's easiest to sew, it doesn't move about, it doesn't stretch. If you're doing projects and just practicing, use an old bed sheet. It's perfect, cheap, like not a waste of fabric. Pattern wise and projects, I refuse to pay for patterns. There'll probably be an exception one day, but I haven't paid for one so far, because once you've bought the fabric and you've bought everything else that you need for the project, it's getting pretty damn expensive. If you're looking for patterns that you pay for, you'll be able to find them easy peasy. Free patterns are harder to come by, but they're still out there. YouTube is incredible. I always like push YouTube videos for anything, because you can see what they're doing rather than having to follow instructions, and patterns can be a completely different language. It's just, you know, it's just so much easier to follow a YouTube video. Equally very easy patterns to follow: mood fabrics. I will link everything I'm talking about in the description. Mood fabrics are excellent because they have what they call society, so there's like hundreds, thousands of free patterns on there, but they're not just like what I call, no offense, grandma patterns, which like is not really stuff you want to wear. They have loads of patterns, they're all completely free, and they usually have tutorials on it. It's not a video, but it's like pictures walking you through what you need to do, which is equally extremely helpful. Also TikTok, loads of tutorials with like, they show you what they're doing, so it's easier. Two YouTubers that I would highly recommend for this is Jenna Phipps. I've learned a lot from her videos, and Teach Me Fashion. Teach Me Fashion is maybe for when you get a bit more advanced, because it shows you more complicated things, but equally very good. So that's sewing. If you have any questions of any of these, just ask me in the comments, I'll help you. Next one I'm going to talk about is crochet. Crochet is my life. I've taught my mum to crochet, something that you can pick up relatively quickly. It's way cheaper than sewing, because you just need a ball of wool and a crochet hook, and you're set, rather than having sewing machine, pins, needles, etc. Crochet I've found personally much easier to pick up than knitting. It's also quicker and I find it more fun. And there are also more like trendy patterns for crochet, so I definitely suggest looking into crochet if that's something you're interested in. To start learning, I would buy chunky wool. Basically, if you don't know, there are several different weights of wool. You can get 4-ply, DK, which is double knitting, Aran, chunky, and then there are other ones as well, but those are like your standard ones. DK is usually the most used one, but chunky is much easier to start with because it knits up so much faster and you can see the stitches way more easy. Gosh damn it, low battery. The prices of the wool will depend on the material it's made from, so you can get acrylic, which is made of plastic basically. It's much cheaper, like it's £2 a ball. So you can get cotton, bamboo, even wool, obviously literally made of wool. I crocheted these shorts and they're made from like a 50% acrylic, 50% cotton, but it feels a lot nicer than acrylic. But acrylic is great to start working with. You'll have different hook sizes depending on the project, depending on the weight of wool you're using, but I would recommend, if you're serious about crochet, go onto Amazon and buy a pack of loads of different sizes of hooks. I think I got like 20 hooks for £7. It's literally the best thing I've ever bought because whenever I'm doing a project I don't have to go out and buy a hook, I've already got them all there. So projects you can start with, I would suggest something like a scarf, a double crochet scarf, a bucket hat. To find the patterns, again pretty much the same as last time, YouTube, TikTok, Etsy if you want to pay. Once you've got the basic stitches you can basically do pretty much anything. I kind of learn as I go along, so I use the stitches I've learned and then learn more as I do the different videos. YouTubers that I would highly recommend following for this, and TikTokers as well, they're kind of both. BB Button, she doesn't necessarily do tutorials, but what she does do is like so interesting, and I love all the things she does create, so it's like something you could look at. Chenga DIY, they have a lot of basic tutorials for like beginner things. Olivia Tully, she has a lot of aesthetic things. This was her pattern, and again Jenna Phipps. And the third thing I want to talk about is upcycling. Upcycling is, I said crochet was the easiest, upcycling is probably the easiest, depending on what you decide to do. There are so many different projects you can do. It's a great way to reuse old clothes that you have or things from charity shops. So much cheaper than buying new clothes, obviously, and much better for the environment. Things you can do is like paint on jeans / distressed clothes to give them a new look, fix clothes even, insert bits, cut away bits, put things on, you know, adjust clothes to fit you, etc. Good YouTubers for this I've always followed: Jen DIY, Generation DIY, and Law DIY. Look at their old videos, their new videos, they do a lot of upcycling clothes. If you have any suggestions, if I've missed anything, if you're into this stuff as well and you know more than me, anything, let me know in the comments, just to help other people out. And yeah, that would be great. I always feel like when I film these videos I'm so serious because I'm like thinking things through and trying to explain them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope this is helpful as well. Let me know if it's been helpful. I'm obsessed with this hairstyle. This is like so cute. I literally don't know, my hair is disgusting today. You wouldn't know it because of the hairstyle. You were saying when I dream of my cardigan, I'm gonna bye.